Here we're going to add two rational expressions, which are just fractions. And these rational expressions have the same denominator. So in order to add them, we're going to go through these three steps. The first step is to add our numerators, and then we're going to keep the denominator as it is. And now we're going to simplify our solution. So our first step is to look at both the numerator and the denominator and see if there's any like terms that we can combine. When we're looking at the numerator, we are adding 2x plus 1 to x plus 2. So since we're adding them together, we actually don't need these parentheses. We can just erase them to just simplify it a bit. Now we can look at it and see what are the like terms. We have a 2x and we have another x. So if we combine those, we end up with 3x. And the constants, we have a 1 and a positive 2. We combine those, we get a positive 3. And then when we look at the denominator, are there any like terms? Like terms have to have the same variable and the exponent. And there are no like terms, so let's just leave it as it is. Now our next step is to break this down into factors. And why are we doing that? When you think about factoring a regular fraction, like if I had 15 over 20, if I broke this down into factors of multiples or of numbers that multiply to give me 15 and 20, I can have 5 times 3 and 5 times 4. When I do that, it's helpful because anything that's in the numerator that's also in the denominator, we can cancel out because this is saying 5 divided by 5, which is 1. So that's why it's helpful to break it down into factors. That's what we're going to do now to see if there's anything we can cancel out. So when you look at the numerator, 3x plus 3, what can we break that down into? What two numbers multiply to give us 3x plus 3? So we want to think, what can we divide 3x by that we can also divide 3 by? 3, right? We can divide them both by 3. So let's change this to 3 times what? Well, what is 3x divided by 3? X. What is positive 3 divided by 3? Positive 1. So we have factored our numerator. Now let's look at our denominator. Now this is a trinomial that's starting off with the x squared. So we can break it down into two binomials. We're going to start off with x and x. So remember, we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us the last term, multiply to give us negative 3, and add to give us that middle coefficient. So you can go through the different options, and hopefully you see that the answer is negative 3 and positive 1, because negative 3 times positive 1 gives us negative 3, and negative 3 plus positive 1 gives us negative 2. So let's put that negative 3 and positive 1. And now the last step is to see if anything cancels out. If there's anything in our numerator that's also in our denominator. And notice we have an x plus 1 and an x plus 1. X plus 1 divided by x plus 1 is 1, so we can cross that off. So what are we left with? 3 divided by x minus 3.